This is Cambridge Audio's first ever noise-cancelling earphone, and a premium flagship one at that, the Melomania M100. And it has Sony, Apple, and Sennheiser and the like square in its sights. In order to succeed though, the M100 needs excellent sound, excellent noise cancellation, plus features up the yin-yang just like the others. So can this British brand differentiate itself enough to be worth your coin and time? Let's take a deep dive to see if the M100 is truly bomber or bummer. The Cambridge Audio Melomania M100 retails for $220, comes in only one colorway by the way, but there is a limited edition model out there, but you have to hunt for it, at least here in the US. Bluetooth 5.3 on board, decked out with AAC, SBC, aptX Adaptive, and aptX Lossless, which is really nice. There is active noise cancelling, wind noise reduction, pass-through mode, the whole caboodle there. In the business end of things, there's 10mm dynamic drivers on each side, boosted by a Class AB amp internally. There's also wear detection, low latency mode, which I tested to around 137 milliseconds, which is pretty darn fast. Google Fast Pair, IPX4, a little bit low for my liking. The weight on this thing combined is 66.6 grams. You can take that number for what it is, or about 6.8 grams thereabouts for each earbud, according to my scale anyway. There are 6 mics on board that handle phone calls and active noise cancelling. Battery life on this thing, guys, is insane. Get this, 9.7 hours during my time with it, with active noise cancellation at 65% volume, or if with active noise cancellation off, this thing bumps to 15.4 hours. Man. At the top of the case, there's this stealthy looking Cambridge Audio logo imprinted there, and at the bottom, I haven't mentioned this yet, there is Qi wireless charging paired with USB-C. There is a pairing button right there as well. And the whole middle of the unit is bisected by this silver trim, and it is a slight, improvement over the black monolith of the case. Personally, I would prefer something a little bit more special for the price and at this level, but at the same time, it doesn't attract the wrong eyes. You don't want this stolen right off the bat. So this hides itself well, let's put it that way. Overall, the plastics are pretty good. I would say it resists scratches really well. I've thrown this around the backpack and it's resisted it well, but it's not oleophobic. Fingerprints show up like crazy, both on the top and at the bottom here. The earbuds are pretty okay. At the bottom, it also gets really dirty pretty quick, so you have to keep a cloth pretty close. On the inside, it improves a little bit more. There's this soft lining at the top that protects the top of the earbuds as well as the battery hump. This kind of looks disjointed among the whole design. Matte plastics on the inside as well, easy to clean, super nice. 3 LED lights that show the battery levels. And also the magnet that keeps it closed is nice and strong, as well as the locking mechanism is very positive at the top of this motion right here. But I can tell you for sure, I've tested this. Yeah, the magnets that hold the earbuds in place are weak sauce, guys, so thumbs down to the shake test right there. Be prepared to pick these up if you drop this on the floor, hunting for them under the bench or the locker or whatever. The earbuds themselves at the top is a teardrop design, but from the side you can see this thing is pretty darn thick. But once it's in your ear, it is actually pretty comfortable. And Cambridge Audio includes foam tips as well as silicone tips. Really nice touch there. And speaking of touch controls at the top that accept single, double, as well as hold. And check out the touchpad surface. This is actually the Cambridge Audio logo if you look closely, and where your finger would rest is also the second circle right there. Really a nice touch. This thing has also one of the quickest silicone tip removal and installation I've seen, in one of the thinnest, smallest sound ports I've seen as well too, protected by a mesh protector there. And you can see it pops right on really quickly. This window is for the wear detection, and there are a couple of mic ports all around. There's 3 per side by the way, and there's also a venting port right there too. The Melomania app is clean and has a good number of customizations to play around with, although there are some areas oddly missing in this category of earphones. From the top, there's things like ambient noise control, where you switch between normal, noise cancelling, British spelling of course, and transparency. Now, switching between each mode takes about 1.5 seconds from tapping to the system actually kicking in, and the audio cues are there to trick you into thinking it's faster than it actually is, which is actually a common practice. There are 3 strength levels for both noise cancelling and transparency, by the way. Touch controls are limited to toggling each command on or off, but you can't reassign them to a preferred gesture. If there's one area of the app that makes this not feel flagship, this would be it. There are 6 EQ presets and a 7-band EQ that you can save up to 20 custom presets from. The gaming mode low latency switch is below that. Now, activating it doesn't necessitate the device to switch to a lower bitrate codec, unlike some others. Sleep mode doesn't mean you'll have to listen to nature sounds or that the earphone will go to sleep after a while. Actually, it conveniently in this case deactivates touch controls and audio feedback while you sleep. One thing you won't find in the app is spatial audio, which I honestly care less about, and also things like noise cancelling or seal tests. If you go back and watch the last video that I shot outdoors versus now, just check out the amount of green and color and everything is sprouting everywhere. It means I have to mow the yard soon, piece of crap. But, you know, happy May, guys. I have Magic by Coldplay running on the M100 through my Pixel 7 Pro right there. It's a high-res FLAC file for what it's worth. But we're not here to talk about SQ. We'll talk about that later on. We're here to do the Bluetooth range test, how the Bluetooth 5.3 handles range. Where I'm standing right now is around 25 feet from the phone, still going strong. But I've done this long enough that knowing Bluetooth 5.3 and earbuds, right around this window here, you start on cue, the signal started fluctuating left and right. So there you go. And I also know, based on experience, that right around 65 to 70 feet away from the phone, through the house and everything, is when I'll get a signal cut off. Sometimes they surprise me. I can go up to the end of the road and nothing happens, but usually earbuds with Bluetooth 5.3, that's been the case. Sure enough, I got the disconnect tone, and you can see the fit of these in my ears, by the way, guys. They are very comfortable, even though they do stand out a little bit more. But I'll tell you this: once I start running, if you're doing workouts that have constant pounding like this, the downward motion on each step, I can hear it at the top of my ear canal. There's this counter pressure on both sides. That no matter what I do, whatever foam tips I use or tips that I use, the foam tips or silicone tips, it does the same thing. So just pay attention to that. If you're using this on a it's simple gym exercise or treadmill or whatever, it should be okay. But if you're just doing like a whole lot of constant up and down motion, these are probably not it. But anyways, let's take these to the end of the road to test how the mics perform. Oh my goodness. I'm not sure how to break the news, guys, but Cambridge Audio, did you even do any testing on these outdoors in a noisy environment? My goodness, I hope it shows up in the sound samples right now, but I've tested these over and over again, hoping to give you the benefit of doubt, because I've seen so many reviews out there talking smack about the mics, and I was hoping, oh, that's probably a bunch of batches that went bad or something like that, or a firmware update. But no, we're still here, and when there's a headwind coming this direction right now, and here comes some traffic testing. Ooh, it's a classic FJ. Oh yes. Yeah, when traffic passes through, this thing just kills my voice. And right now I'm actually projecting. I'm talking a little bit louder than usual to project into the camera, and it works better. But when you're talking at a normal volume, it just cuts out so much of my speech. It's not even funny. It just garbles, and sometimes, I'm not sure if it'll show up in the recording as well, it'll hop back left and right for some reason. Yeah, my goodness, this is really disappointing, and that's why it's going to go straight in the negatives, I can tell you right now. Well, I guess they recognize a local celebrity when they see one. Right. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for being here. If you have anything to say, if you own an M100 and have a separate or different experience, let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think about this. In a quiet environment, guys, if I'm using this at home or indoors, the sound is sublime. It's really good voice quality. But the moment, let me try to talk softer. But the moment these things are outdoors, the algorithm just trips itself up. It's not the best. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Can you hear what the difference now? Testing. 1, 2, 3. Let's get the negatives out of the way first. So these buds aren't the grippiest despite their bulk. They're oftentimes a challenge to finagle out a case, especially once my fingers get slightly damp or oily. And on the topic of bulk, the ungainly design isn't the most appealing compared to the rest. The melanoma reminds me of the Jabra 75T and 85T. from 5 years ago. So a design that's stealthy and not flashy, I can get behind that. But something that's uninspiring, not so much. Wear detection, annoyingly, doesn't work unless you remove both buds from your ears, which kinda defeats the purpose. Pretty much every other manufacturer out there does it so that wear detection works when you remove either side. As you heard in the phone call test, the noise gate doesn't just cut out background noises, which is good, but also bits and pieces of my voice, which isn't good. Straight up, guys, the AB amplifier on this knows how to play. It has so much volume to give that by the time it's at 70%, it's already too loud for my ears. And of course, loudness is pointless without composure and assertiveness, and thankfully, there are plenty of those as well. Whatever Cambridge Audio sprinkled on their drivers with, they entertain almost equally throughout the frequency range, and this is the important part too. They still have enough headroom in which for anyone to EQ with if they wish. Doing some frequency sweeps revealed that bass and also some parts of the mids are a little subdued straight out of the box, but again, the buds are quite comfortable with equalizing, so that's an easy fix if you feel like it. Now, at default tune, a song like Introvert by Little Sims shows how tight and clean the driving bass line is, while the vocals are still highlighted amid all that force. And then for Matera by Hans Zimmer, the M100 balances the soft and gentle strings with the soothing bass. In Rose Rouge by Saint-Germain, the trumpet is bright enough and the repetitive "I want you to get together" part comes through clearly throughout the mix, although it probably could use a little bit more push in the lower registers. A nice plus that I found is that width and depth on this may convince some listeners that they're listening to a set of headphones, which shouldn't be happening on a set of earbuds. And also just as impressively is imaging. Again, we're talking about a set of TWS here where, I can make out the positional cues of performers and instruments. Active noise cancellation performance is right up there with the best, guys, nullifying those low engine rumbles or steady hums from pink noise machines that I tested these with. There are 3 pass-through modes, low, high, and voice, and if I were to pick one for the most natural sounding, it'll be low. The other 2 will just make you hate life more. Now, on the flip side though, ANC seems to either have some kind of auto-adaptive thing going on, I'm not sure what it is, deciding, when to lower or increase noise cancelling as needed. I don't know about you guys, but I prefer a toggle to turn the feature on or off as I need, which is an ability other brands have. One nice perk the Melodrama surprised me with was in battery life. Get this, almost 10 hours with ANC on. Are you kidding me now? That puts it literally at the top of the pack. Let's be real. At the price range where these flagship earphones live, at least here in the US, most of you who will be spending money on one of these probably can swing the extra $50 to $80 cost variance. But savings is still savings, so for that, the M100 is in a great place, undercutting Bose, Sennheiser, and Sony by a safe margin. And if you're an Apple user, the Gen 2 AirPods Pro, surprise, surprise, is the cheapest of the lot, running around $180 on Amazon nowadays. In some ways, the Megalomania feels like a mature product, like other brands that have been doing this for much longer. And yet, on the other hand, it also trips itself up with some really basic technicalities that we mentioned before that doesn't seem to be, thankfully, hardware related and can be quickly fixed via firmware or software updates. Yes, I also think it's physically a little bit bulky. I think Sony has really got this down pat with the current Gen X M5, and the design is also a little bit too under the radar for me. But you know what? This thing rocks where it counts. Noise cancelling is fantastic, especially if they settle the whole adaptive adjustment behavior. Audio performance is an absolute peach, joined by killer battery life. And then when paired with a pretty aggressive price for a flagship, the M100 becomes one of my favorite earbuds I've reviewed this year. Well, this has been the Cambridge Audio Melomania M100 review, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like what I do, guys, this doesn't just appear out of thin air. I really need your help to get the word out there. Subscribe, like, reshare this with your friends, comment nicely down below, join the community, and we'll try to help you back as well. Thank you so much for being here and spending your time. And remember to do something loving and kind for somebody in this world, because guess what? If you haven't seen the news, the world needs it more than ever, and it starts with you. I love you very much. Peace out and God bless.